Bahujans are opposing such national festivals, there is one kind of an argument crops up that why do you oppose? Because many of us who celebrate these festivals don't even know these stories, and we don't want to know it also. Now we consider just as a force where we all come together and celebrate. So that how do you respond for that?
No, it is true that, as I said, in the case of Onam festival or in the case of Batkama festival, the dominant culture of the written sources, the Brahmanic texts, for example, the Vedic texts, and formulating themselves into Hindu texts, they undermine the Dalit-Bahujan, Dravidian, unwritten traditions, and their festivals are imposed upon these people, and now they are contextualized as natural Indian festivals. They are festivals of India. Deepavali is a festival of all Indians. So you celebrate the death of Narakasura even as the storytelling form, as the death of evil, not as the death of representative of Dalits and Bahujans. And you put lights on that day because the bad has, evil has died, the good has triumphed on that day. And you also burn crackers, destroying all the environment on that day, destroying the health of children in millions of tons. Therefore, the Brahmins are celebrating their crackery, the Banyas are celebrating their crackery, the Kshatriyas are celebrating their crackery. Why not we Dalits, OBCs, particularly OBCs, own it up and burn more crackers, destroy more of their health? In fact, they don't want to go to schools and colleges but celebrate these festivals. They don't want to get into a culture of flying in the air, getting into aeroplanes, but stay on the ground. When the Brahmins and Banyas, when the Reliance is flying, when Kirloskars are flying, when Birlas are flying, when Narayan Murtis are flying, they want to stay on the ground and celebrate these festivals and enjoy, drink and dance, burn more crackers, and that if possible burn some of their houses also, and kill their own children and take to the hospitals. When the Brahmins keep flying in the air to America, to Europe, go to Olympics, they want to go into the wrestling here in the streets on that day. Because that is how you get ghettoized, you get dominated by their culture. Fine, I mean, I have no problem with them, because that is how. But then the other problem comes. The birth of Jesus as a Christmas becomes much bigger festival of the world, getting itself imposed on all Indians. Why do they oppose? Because Jesus is a bigger God than Krishna. Therefore, Christmas becomes the universal festival. And this Christmas is celebrated by the Brahmins and Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, but not by the Sudras. Because they are told that this is not your festival. You know, look at where Jesus was. He was born in Israel. He is an anti-Indian. Why do you celebrate? And the lower caste buy this argument. But the Brahmins and Banyas celebrate this festival because they need to be with the Europeans, with the Americans, with the Israelites, and they need to be with everybody all over the world. So what happens, the big festival of the big ruler should be owned by the lower strata, and the Dalits and Bahujans are the lower down of the society, therefore they own all Brahminic arguments. But the Aryans of India had to own up the other arguments, but the point is, Jesus has something common with the Bali Rajas. He himself was a Bali Raja.
So, one more thing is, how, for example, in this contemporary age, we're talking about modern and everything, how can people believe such kind of stories? One story is that 3 foot, 1 foot he kept, another on the world, earth, and where does
on the sky?
What is this stories, and how do they propagate this myth, and how do they follow? They don't question such things.
No. See, they don't even question. Say, for example, when Ganapati festival day, the priest comes to every house and tells the story how Ganapati was born. The story is horrendous. The story goes like this. Parvati keeps bathing in her bathroom, and she keeps at the gate so that nobody can enter, a son there. And Shiva comes there and wants to enter into the bathroom. Now the question is, why does he want to enter into bathroom at that stage when she is bathing? So this boy objects he entering. Shiva kills him, beheads his head, and gets inside. And then Parvati asks, how could you come in? What happened to our son there? He was watching. Because there were no doors in those days to the bathrooms. So if there was a door, she should have kept a very strong steel door to see that her husband does not enter into bathroom, because bathroom is not the place to have pleasure. So she didn't have, poor lady, she didn't have doors, so she kept her son there. He kills. Then he surprises that he killed his own son. Then what he does, she says, she protests. Says, what kind of a human being you are? How did you kill our own son? You beheaded him. Then what he does another great thing. They have a young elephant as a play elephant for their kid. He kills that elephant's head and puts on this boy's body. So 2 crimes, killing son, killing an elephant, and making a human elephant out of their own son. He becomes Ganapati. Now this story is told to every family by the priest. How can people believe this? And the story is around God. How can they believe this? Because the human mind in India is destroyed out of any wits. So they believe all myths of killing, blood, dirt, and inhuman relationship between men and women in bathrooms. They enjoy it, and they think that that is the festival. It is not just one Brahminic mind, the Dalit mind, the OBC mind. Even our own relatives enjoy that. Why do that? Because they don't understand that human relationship to God is abstract, not around these images, the idols and the killings. That is where they begin to enjoy Telugu films. The heroes kill many people. Unless he kills many people, he can't become hero. So that is one of the reasons why Indian mind could not produce an outstanding philosopher. You know, outstanding philosophers did not become philosophers because they wrote about the stories of war, the stories of killing. They wrote about the human life, the production, the nature, the relationship between human beings and God. God is an abstract entity, not God is an idol. Not God is an elephant form. God is in some form like, tree, or like a stone, or like this God or that God, or Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. No. The God is an abstract element. But what they did was, in India, they made gods out of all horrendous things. And human beings were made to believe those horrendous stories. Therefore, the mind got stuck there. It is a Dalit mind, it is a tribal mind, it is an OBC mind, it is a Banya mind, and a Brahmin mind. All of them got jammed into superstition. Now this mind needs to be liberated out of different kind of spiritual ideas. Spirituality is, I see that, essential for human beings, and festivals are essential for human beings. People need to celebrate. But what to celebrate? Celebrate a child's birth. Celebrate a prophet's birth. Celebrate a great man's birth or great woman's birth. Celebrate Savitri Bai's birth. But instead, they celebrate their death. Now, even the Dalit likes the celebration of death. Even the tribal likes the celebration of the death. Even the OBC likes, and the Brahmin likes, and the Banya likes. Because that is how they can control them. Now the greater cultures come and impose different varieties of their own things. Therefore, they get subsumed into these things. So what happened? The great written culture has imposed its values, cultures, festivals on the lower down ones. The lower down ones impose their own thing on much more lower down ones. The much more lower down ones impose their own things on much more lower down ones. That's how the hierarchy is maintained in the world. Now these hierarchical festivals need to be reordered. We should sort out what is positive, what is negative, what is death and what is life. So death festivals must be removed. The life festivals must be retained. That's how we need to progress.